All right, well, joining us today on Bull Banter, we have none other than the king of Raby himself, Jake McGing. Welcome to Bull Banter, and how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And how does it feel after the massive win at the weekend against Central Coast? Yeah, what's the mood been like in training this week?
Yeah, it's been really good, especially being our first finals as a club. To get a result up there as well, their home ground was it was a massive game. So we did it tough. Got a bit touch and go when we got the man sent off, but I was just happy we got the win in the end.
Yeah, it was a huge result. And I guess on a bit of a personal level for you, you previously played with the Mariners. How did it feel to, go back there and sort of, was it a bit bittersweet given that you've, played for them before and have, your professional sort of debut with them, or was it more, just amazing scenes to get it one over them?
Yeah, it was more just this season kind of thing because they beat us in every game. So going into this finals game, we just had in our heads that we have to win it when the time when the time's right, really. So I'm glad we did. That was the main thing. They were our kind of like a bogey team for us throughout the season. So it was really good. We got the result.
Yeah, definitely. And just quickly as well, while we're on that, we had a few Mariners fans sitting behind us when we were watching you play. And I heard a couple of them shout out to you, Jake, you never cracked it at the Mariners. If they were here now, what would you say to them?
It's just a bit of banter on the sidelines. I always get that, especially when I go up there anyway, because I was there for a long time. So, I don't take that personally. But, at the end of the day, we got the win, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, you're too polite, Jake. You're too polite. Switching it up a little bit, can you take us through your footballing journey, right from grassroots all the way through your career? Basically, how have you ended up at the Bulls, and what has it been like?
Yeah, so basically started playing for Escol Park Wolves. They were the local team. Because I'm from Raby, so they're our closest team. So, played with them from the age of 5 to about 9. Then I made the step up to MacArthur Rams, which is like basically a dream of mine when I was that age. I just wanted to play for MacArthur Rams so bad. And got there and then went from there to, because MacArthur went in the top MPL, so I went to Marconi after that. Stayed there for a couple more years and then basically worked my way through the ranks of Marconi and went from there. I got picked up with the Wanderers youth team. Was there basically when the club started, so it was pretty cool. Seeing how it all works, being in an A-League setup, training with first grade and stuff like that. So it really, that was massive for me, just being that professional environment, something I wasn't used to, so I had to step up there. And then I went from nothing much happening at Wanderers youth team, like there weren't many opportunities in the first team like that. So I made the move to Mariners youth team. Did well in the youth team there and managed to get a first grade contract, which was a dream come true, really. So that was my road into professional football, really.
Just quickly, what would be one of the key things you'd say to a young player who's coming through, maybe early to mid-teens, and they're trying to crack it in professional football in Australia? What would be your key piece of advice?
Just to keep at it, really. It's a tough sport to crack into. There's a lot of more downs and ups, that's for sure. So you kind of have to just stay with it and stay positive for the whole thing and back yourself, really. At the end of the day, it's up to you. So it's it's one of those things you just need to knuckle down as much as you can and just stick by it, really, and good will come.
Yeah. And to take it back to your professional career, so you've gone up through the Mariners youth system, cracked it a little bit there, and then where did you go next?
Yeah, so started playing with the Mariners first team. That was in 2015, I think. So I was playing pretty consistently there, which was good. We didn't have the best results at the time, but it was great for me being a young player. Just playing constantly against fully grown men and professionals. So just to be in that environment was good. And then I went from there to, I got an offer from Poland. So I went over to, play there, wanted to try myself in Europe. So that was a big experience for me, really, because I went from basically peak Central Coast summer, which is 35 degrees every day, to Polish winter, which is I've had 0 degrees. So getting out and putting 8 pairs of trackies on before you go out to train. But yeah, and it was different as well, where I had to basically go into, like, the team were down the bottom over there, so I had to play a relegation kind of battle, and yeah, we eventually stayed up, which is good. So that's something that I was like blessed to be a part of, really. And then went from after Poland last season, I was in Brisbane Raw. We had Robbie Fowler as a coach, which was another good experience, another person who I took a lot from, really, especially the career that he had. So that was a awesome time, really.
Yeah. And just on your time in Europe, do you sort of notice a difference in, I guess, the culture around the club? Do you notice it being more a competitive environment, or is it a bit more pressure on you? Like, take us through what the differences are, I suppose.
Yeah, it was a lot different in terms of that. Yeah, in terms of the pressure, really, because especially I basically came into a relegation fight. So it was, people like the club could have basically, they were talking that they could have folded if we got relegated. They wouldn't be able to support the boys anymore. So it's one of those things that you're getting pressure from the board, the staff, the coaches, players are putting pressure on themselves as well. So that was something that I hadn't really experienced before. So it was, it was a massive thing for me, really. So I was just, blessed to be a part of it.
Yeah. And you hear stories, about the competitiveness over in Europe. Was there anyone, because you were still, you still are quite a young player. Was there anyone sort of, looking at you as the foreigner being like, oh, does he really deserve to be here? Or was it more just coming together because, you got to fight, you got to scrap in that relegation battle?
Yeah, I'm sure there was, but the good thing was I didn't understand them anyway. So it was, it's always like that when you go into a new team, especially halfway through the year. A lot of the boys would have been like, "Oh, who's this guy?" Especially come from Australia as well, where it's they don't really recognize us on the global. Yeah, exactly. But I feel as though I definitely earned their respect by the end, come the end of the season, really. So it was the main thing for me.
Yeah, massive. Taking things, I guess, back to how they are now, you've joined Macarthur Bulls, and I guess what was the process like in joining, and how does it feel to play for what is essentially your hometown club now?
Yeah, well, it was funny. As soon as I heard the rumours that the club might have, become part of the league, I just wanted to do everything in my power to get here, really, because it's just one of those things, massive growing up here, that there was never really a sporting team of any sporting code playing professionally. Like, there's no NRL team or AFL or anything like that. So to have just a sporting team in the area that plays professionally is massive, and for it to be football as well, which is the sport I love and the sport I grew up watching, is just huge for the area. So that's why I just wanted to be part of that inaugural team, really, where just to be part of the club's history. So yeah,
it's massive, mate. Like, you talked about how you came through from Escort Park up through Macarthur Rams, and it's still sort of a well-charted territory, those clubs, for juniors. So you're setting yourself up there as a role model now, and the kids can hopefully see that as a pathway for them to one day maybe represent the Bulls as well. So that's huge.
Exactly.
Yeah. I also wanted to talk about, I guess, your role at the Bulls. You said you wanted to do everything you could just to be a part of it. So when you were signed, were you seen as sort of a squad player, sort of rotating in and out? Were you expecting to be first 11? And how has that sort of changed across the season?
Well, it's been a tough season for me, to be honest, because I came into the club with a pretty bad knee injury. So I missed the first half of the season. So, as a player, kind of plays with your head, really, that whether you're going to be involved for the rest of the season, whether you're going to come back the same, because that's been my first proper injury. So it's, I just had to mentally get right, really. And once I started training more and playing more, I definitely backed myself to get in the team. You ask any player, really, and they definitely would back themselves to get in the team. So I don't think any player really signs to be a squad player more.
Yeah, sorry, that probably comes off as a bit insulting, mate.
No, that's totally fine. But I'm just, it's one of those things that, everyone just wants to, be in that lineup. And I'm, lucky enough, I put a good foot forward, I guess, and got in there.
Yeah, well, you mentioned your injury, and it hasn't really shown, to be honest. Every time you've jumped on the park, you've been really solid. You got a couple of assists to your name, getting up and down that right side, and you've been, a breath of fresh air down that side for the Bulls.
Thank you.
Wanted to ask you as well, what's like a really important or interesting thing that you've learnt or been told by either Ante Milicic or one of your peers at MacArthur Bulls there? What's something you've learnt?
Yeah, more for me, it's not so much advice, it's more the way the senior boys kind of carry themselves. So especially players like Milligan, Federici, guys who have been there and done that, really, how they, especially at their age now, where they could, in all honesty, put their feet up and go, yeah, I've had a great career, but they're still so driven every single day, the way they are at training, the way they carry themselves off the field and stuff like that, and the way they mentor the young boys. So just seeing plays like that, the way, they carry themselves around the team, interact with the boys, is just something that I kind of take on board. And something going forward for me, the older I get, is probably something to take on board, really. So
they've been good mentors to you?
Yeah, definitely. Just anything they say, really, just is great advice. So they definitely know what they're talking about. So
yeah. You said you wanted to do everything you could to get into the first team and to MacArthur FC, just to be a part of it in the inaugural season. Do you have any sort of ambitions of going back overseas since your stint in Poland, or is it more just you want to create sort of a legacy at home here?
I'm not too sure. Football's a crazy game, so anything can happen, really. So my main thing at the moment is to play as well as I can for MacArthur. That's my main priority. The more games I play and the better I do. You just don't know what happens. So it's that's my main aim, and especially coming to the finals now, that's definitely my priority.
Yeah, just put yourself in the shop window and see what happens, eh?
Yeah, you never know.
Just wanted to finish off with I guess a bit of a, not prediction, but just tell us what do you think about our position at the weekend? Do you think that we've got an opportunity to make into the grand final in our first season? And what have the boys been like in training and around camp? Are they confident leading into the weekend?
Yeah, we're confident, especially after last week, the way we got the result. It was, it gives us a lot of momentum, I guess, going into the game against City, and especially now that the game just got announced that it's in Sydney as well, is massive for us. So we're going to do everything in our power to make sure we get the win. But we're just going to approach it like normal games, but with a bit of extra motivation behind it.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of Bulls supporters out there at Cogra on the weekend now that the game's moved there. And Jake McGing, thank you so much for joining Bull Banter. We really appreciate it.
Oh, good. Thanks for having me.
Best of luck, mate.
Thank you.
Catch you later.